Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. A channel where I usually take that lamp out of the corner, but I didn't in part 1, so it's staying there now. And a channel where my cat really likes cuddles. In the previous part, we left off at track number 7, now we're back for track number 8, called Think Before You Drink. I noticed in the bio that this is a different version, or a cover essentially, of a different song. Listen to that original version, just so I can kind of compare here, I guess. And I'm not sure how much of it has changed, if any, like, lyrical things are different or whatnot, but it is a Michael Cassidy song, originally, if you're unaware. Okay, well, this is far more melancholic, damn. Ugh, damn. Okay, so very emotional appeal on that track, very stripped back, obviously, pretty much just driven by a distorted set of vocals and acoustic guitar. Wow, the emotional impact on that is wild. So very relevant with its topical focus upon the normalization of war, like all the way back to the, facts that are brought up in school, and the way that, nobody reacts to these problems. And I think that that's a very interesting political message to bring up this late on the album. And yeah, another great socially aware track. Very nice, and yeah, it's kind of a gut punch emotionally, especially with the sound of it. Really conveys its message in a strong way. Wink is the name of the next song, which kind of rhymes with think and drink, so like we get a little bit of a theme going on here. All right, pretty steady beat here. Okay, so I kind of like this melody, but the vocal mixing here is just really hard to deal with. There's like other sounds in the mix sometimes that just aren't actually guitars, I think. It sounded like beeps from buttons. I don't know if I like the rambly tone of this song. Like, there's something about it that just makes me feel like it's kind of got this like drunken stupor vibe to it, where it's just somebody like mumbling through a track. I don't mean that just only in the mixing too, like Julian's presentation just kind of comes off that way, like he just doesn't really give a fuck. Yeah, those, I don't know, that's gotta be coming from a synthesizer or something. It's not a guitar, but it almost sounds like it is. Kinda trippy. Oh, it just ends? Yeah. Like, the sound of the instrumental was somewhat accessible, but there were just certain things that were a little bit off about it. The vocal mixing was really kind of hard to fuck with, honestly. Like, I just, I don't know, something about the presentation there and just everything where it just felt like I said, just kind of a drunken stupor type vibe where you're just stumbling through this track. And I don't mean that in like a awful way or anything. It wasn't terrible, but yeah, certain songs on here that kind of take this more accessible approach, but yet still have like strange vocal mixing or just like a couple things that are really off about them is not really something that appeals to me personally all that much, just because I feel like either I want something to be pretty much extremely experimental or extremely accessible, like very normal. If you're gonna make a normal sounding song, I'd rather it was just a normal sounding song, But I don't know, I guess that's where I'm at with that. My Friend the Walls is the name of the next song. It just sounds like a fucking robot. I don't even know if that's auto-tune or just some wacky-ass effects. Okay, that's some interesting riffs here. That vocal processing is just very strange. Really kind of throws off your ability to just kind of vibe with it. I didn't really that one was a lot. I feel like a lot of this song focused on a desire for a person in a somewhat animalistic way, but kind of crossing that line into, you know, is this a like romantic desire or is it just like a instinct type thing? I could just totally be grasping at straws and this could have a totally different meaning. But, you know, there's a lot of strangeness to wrap your head around with that song, but I think I ended up liking it. The vocal processing was a little hard to deal with, but the worst part about this is I know a lot of this is going to sound better in headphones. You know, it's got that sense to it where I know that everything's so like incredibly intentional that I feel like I'm going to like it in that setting much better. I can't guarantee that though, so for now I'm just kind of iffy on that song. Pink Ocean is the name of the next song, which is already giving me some solid imagery, honestly. That's cool. Good title. Wow. This is so surreal. That sounds incredible. Wow. That's just really solid, like steady bass lines. Wow. This is great. Oh shit. Super nice. Okay, so I hate to break the atmosphere up a little bit, but there's just it's so hard to comment on this song right in the center of it. The atmosphere here, just with this really solid rhythm and those kind of chimey melodies that got like a certain sense of distortion over it, this song just feels like a dusty, dark environment, but it's got this weird sense of nostalgia to it as well. It's bringing something to mind for me, and I just can't place it. The sound itself has a level of imagery to it, and clearly the messaging behind the song is pretty blatantly clear, and if you scroll down, a lot of it ends up being very similar throughout, but it matches the mood. And the lyricism here is partially about like a broken romance, and mostly about just someone who, as the chorus says, wants out of the world, feels very dejected and just outside of everyone. And yeah, there's just something really, really interesting about the way the song sounds that I just can't put my finger on. Shit, that is beautiful. Wow, and the way it's just all kind of collapsing in on itself now. Wow. Oh my god. I mean, I basically said everything that I have to say about that already, so I feel like it'd just be kind of redundant, but I mean, besides talking about that outro, that last section there, I mean, I should really not use the word outro on like the last minute and a half of a song, but you know what I'm talking about. Holy shit. The way that wrapped around the bass line, that melody that just kept trudging along through the song, just dropped out entirely. Everything got ethereal. And just what an inventive way to make a song sound that beautiful. Holy crap. There was just something that worked about that for me really, really well. Black Hole is the name of the next song. Oh, so this is what anxiety sounds like, by the way. What the fuck is this mixing? I like want to jam out, but there's just not enough texture to like hold on to. Okay, so this sounds like modern punk rock, but it's mixed like garage black metal. Okay, so I'm reading here, it looks like this song may have been recorded through a phone. I'm not exactly sure, but it was part of promo that you could call a number and they would like tease this song. So is this literally like a recording of a phone playing the song? Does a better recording of this exist? Because it sounds really good. I mean, like, the song itself, I mean, it sounds like a banger, dude. I'm not gonna lie, but I cannot deal with how, like, cardboard thin this fucking sound is, dude. I can't even say paper thin because it's, like, crunchy. It's a really cool riff. Okay, so very thematically protest-based song. It kind of sounds like what would happen if something was played over like an announcement speaker. If you think about, I don't know, if you're at like a carnival or something along that lines, like at a fairgrounds, there will be an announcer that comes over like the loudspeakers, and the fact that it's a politically driven message also makes me feel like that might be intentional because you got kind of these disembodied voices telling you what to do or informing you of certain things, and maybe the politically charged nature of this is something that I'm giving it like too much credit for in that way. But yeah, like I said, this is mixed like somebody's black metal band in a Norwegian garage somewhere. That's about where I'm at with it. All right. Yeah. So sonically, there's not a lot to latch to there because it just doesn't fill the sound that it's given. Because the sound of this just doesn't fill the room like it should. Lazy Boy is the name of the next song. All right. Definitely mess with this sound a lot more. Yeah. Oh, dude. Something about that really hits me in a special way. Yes! That is great. Annotation on this pre-chorus that says, this pre-chorus borrows the melody from Frank Zappa's Son of Mr. Green Jeans. Yes, I noticed that this melody was very familiar, and I like that. I like that somebody else noticed that too. I couldn't quite place it, but you know, it's been ages since I heard that. But I mean, so this could be something completely different, and this annotation could be completely off. But yeah, I did notice that there's something very familiar about this pre-chorus melody. This chorus is just so nice. Part of this sounds very ethereal and dreamlike, but at the same time, this melody sounds very like anxiety driven and kind of like fills you with dread a little bit. Like, that's very weird. I love it though. Holy shit, this is so cool. Okay, so there was a certain sound of that track that it sounded very vintage, but it's like you know what? I'm starting to put together what it is, this like unknown feeling that I'm getting from a lot of songs on this record, where, so it's like you took these classic rock sounds, which growing up I was around a lot of classic rock just on the radio and stuff, and a lot of very specific memories that I have kind of have like classic rock music playing in the background. So it's like you took that and just added something very like off kilter and strange to it. So it's like messing with my nostalgia. And I feel like that was intentional, and the artistry behind that is so cool. Like, don't get me wrong, there's been songs on here that I actually just don't really like that much, but the overall concepts here that are being employed are actually even more experimental than they look like from a glance. We're Where We Were, which is one hell of a mouthful, is the name of the next song. If I'm looking at that title alone, and I happen to see the first line is New Holocaust Happening, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is about like degradation of societal progress, like, okay. That's a riff right there. It's a hell of a riff. The very hollow sound that's put in there. It's really cool. This is gonna... Okay, kinda did. Still, yeah, like very climactic. The drumming on this is just awesome. Yeah, I feel like I was very right about the messaging on this track, definitely. Oh. It seems like Julian is just like blowing out the microphone, but it's in this god tier level of aggression. What am I saying here, dude? The percussion this song features is just wow. Wow, that sounds cool. Bass on this track is like shaking my room, by the way, so there's that as well. And once again, the way that it's like falling apart at the end here. It's like the soundscape itself is just collapsing. That is exactly what I wanted from the track Black Hole a few tracks earlier. Yeah, very punk rock energy off of that track for sure, and it was just kind of a rager of a track, really. And I was right about the political-centric message that was on here, and I guess you could maybe grasp at some straws, call it a little bit predictable just for that reason, but I still appreciated the messaging that was featured here, all things considered. So yeah, decent track, one of the most punk ones on here, once again. So I'm very interested to see what we're going to get on our closer here, and the closer is titled Pointlessness. Wow, that is just about the most dread-inducing sound you could possibly think of. Damn. Such a somber tone. Okay. Jeez. Oh, wow. So, apparently we're going to cover every single topic in the world on this album, including just ending the album off with Existential Crisis, the song. That's lovely. Wow, that was really heavy to just listen to, I guess. I mean, he starts the song off basically just saying that he's drunk and he's thinking, and then just repeating the idea of what doesn't matter is just... Okay. I thought Off to War was a very helpless, hopeless, dark and melancholic closer, but this certainly takes the cake for that, because, wow, man, I don't even know what else to say about that. It all sounded really fantastic, and like I said, the most dread-inducing atmosphere you could probably even have on a song. That was just... Truthfully, I don't know if I can honestly even rate this right now. I've tried to take in as much as I possibly can, and that's always what I do when I do these reaction videos for you guys. I try to be very close listening and try to take in all the themes that I can, try to take in all of the instrumental diversity, all of the elements that are very notable on an album. But right now, there was so much covered on there. Like, so much ground was covered, not only sonically, but thematically. Pretty much every song has an entirely different message than the other. They were clearly in a very ambitious mood to write this record, because there is so much different ground covered. Wow, thinking about getting from Curious to Here is just such a mindfuck that that's the same album. Like, really, mindfuck is just kind of a great way to describe this record, because wow, there's so much to process about. I mean, I understand why it's kind of a polarizing record, because I can see being on either side of the fence with that, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and say that I love that. I don't think that's something that's going to change, but I do want to give it a much better listen with some headphones. Give it a few more listens. So I know I've said this on a lot of different reaction videos, but sometimes I will actually return to an album and give it a formal review once I've heard it a little bit more. And this is one of the few moments that I can pretty much guarantee that I am going to be doing that, like at some point in the next month, I would say. I realized really the only time I've ended up doing that was the Joyner Lucas album, but you can count on that appearing at some point. I want to do a bit of a retrospective and do a formal review on this, because where do I even start? I just sat here in front of you guys, listened to the whole thing front to back, and I don't even know where to start describing it. Okay. So I guess that's that. I mean, now that I'm baffled and confused, I guess I have to do the outro now. So, let me know what you think of this album down in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions, probably more than I even do on a regular basis. Like the video, and like the last one too, just in case you didn't. If you did like the content yesterday, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, you want more music-related content coming to your way on a fairly regular basis. My Twitter is linked below if you want to go drop a follow on there, but that is just about going to wrap it up for this one, and I will see you in the next video.